Welcome to the 50K Q&A, where for this video and this video only, I've allowed you guys to get as personal and as intricate with the questions you asked as you want. So this video is essentially a love letter to you guys for getting me here. It'll probably perform like ass view-wise due to the fact that it's not Bone Lab related directly, but just for you who actively enjoy my videos in specific, I'm taking the algorithm hit to hopefully make something that sticks with you and you can appreciate. This is going to be a little different than a generic Q&A. We're gonna start with the easier questions and save the more heartfelt ones for the end. But we'll sprinkle some of those during the easy section too in order to make everything more entertaining. So without further ado, let's dive right into your questions. Where do you get ideas? And as a follow-up, are you still proud of your old videos? My ideas mostly come to me naturally because I'm just so awesome, but of course I have dry periods, and in those I'll look to other YouTube videos for inspiration. I've also started writing some ideas down so I can look back to them if I need them. Right now I have Goodbye Boneworks OG video and stream planned when we get closer to the launch of the Boneworks update. I am absolutely still proud of my old videos. Some of them I think are better than what I do now even. Things like the charity streams will always have such a special place in my heart and still are really excellent in my eyes. How big is it? That question was unironically asked at least 3 times in the comment section. You absolute monsters. I'm gonna make the executive decision to not share the size of my genitals on the internet. I think that's probably a good idea. Did you learn anything useful from the daily facts during the countdown to patch 4? For those who don't know, I did a daily tweet until Bone Lab patch 4 came out a while back, and this guy would leave random facts alongside me every day. I didn't learn a single thing, but unironically it was really nice to have someone tune into the tweets consistently while we waited. How do you make a living? Do you have a job outside of YouTube? And if so, what is it? I have always wanted to do YouTube for a living. It's been my dream since I was like 7 years old watching old Smosh videos. And nowadays that dream has come true. My only job is YouTube. Although my main source of income is actually from Meta via the affiliate code thing. If it wasn't for that, I'd probably be working at McDonald's right now. Why do you barely post anymore? It's been mostly a burnout of Bone Lab. Nothing particularly interesting has been happening as of late, and I'm kind of using this downtime to relax a bit and gear up for Boneworks and Bone Lab patch 7, which I thought was gonna be soon, but to be honest, I don't have much faith at the moment. I got you, Mini. 2 questions. 1. Why did you start YouTube instead of getting a real job? And 2, if you had to pick only 3 mods to use in Bone Lab, what would they be? Again, YouTube was always my dream, long ago, and I always wanted that to be my job. It's just sort of always been my passion. I remember choosing to buy my editing software instead of buying fucking Kirby Star Allies for my Switch, and struggling to make that decision as a kid, because as a kid, games is all I wanted and really cared about. To answer your other question, Fusion, Duck Season, and some campaign map. Not sure which one, but it would have to be a pretty good one. There's a lot. Those 3 mods for sure. Probably. Have you ever wanted to do an IRL video? Like maybe getting some Bone Lab content creators together and just having a good time? And make sure you invite Swipes if you plan to do it for real. I love the idea of this, but if it ever happened, it'd probably just be with Swipes, as I'm not really close to anyone in the Bone Lab space. He also lives really far away, so I'd need to make more money to fly him out or fly out myself. Of course, I know people like Wigwam in passing, but the only people I actively hang out with in the Bone Lab sphere is Swipes and Hazzy. I do hope to be better involved in the community, but my style of humor isn't really that common in this space, so I find it hard to really click with people or have people really click with me. And on the occasion I do hang out with someone for a collab or something, I can't get a good read if they're enjoying my presence or not, since the initial interaction is kinda this is for business thing. It's just really hard to tell. What is your biggest recommendation for aspiring Bone Lab creators? I mean, like any purchases, nice mods, or specific tips for the algorithm. This is tough when talking about Bone Lab specifically, as it seems to vary depending on the type of creator you are. Wigwam does This Week in Bone Lab. Bam's videos are more kid-oriented, I think. It's weird. For me, what I'd say you should probably try to accomplish is to have as much fun as possible. Do videos you personally really like to make. That way, if a video does well, your niche will be related to stuff you like to do. What do you think there's gonna be for Bone Lab patch 7? It probably really will just be IOBT and the Unity version change. I assume there will be some new tools for modders, but ultimately, not much. I suspect the reason things are taking so long is that Boneworks port. Can you put a girl on? Yeah, I got you, Swipes.
Hi, I'm Girl. I don't know why the fuck you need this, but you can crap out this.
When do you plan on retiring? I don't really have a set time or anything, but I'd like to retire at 30 if such a thing is possible. Really though, I doubt my content will have taken off enough to achieve such a thing, so anytime past 30, if I can retire, I will. That doesn't mean I won't do videos, just won't do them out of necessity, if that makes sense. Have you ever broken an index controller, and if so, how many in total and how did you break them? I have been through at least 4 index controllers, all of them broke via stick drift or the grip literally falling off for one of them. I feel like I take at least good enough care of my stuff for this to have not been my fault, and it is known there's a certain delicacy to the index. It's why I've switched fully to the PSVR 2. I use that basically every day, and it's been a year now with 0 hardware problems. If you were to work at SLZ, what would you change? We're pausing work on the interaction engine right now and working full speed ahead on the Boneworks update and B-side. 3 years of polish and Bone Lab is way too much time, especially updating Bone Lab with these changes and having to rebuild the campaign to use them. It's a waste and could be time spent on future titles, where systems can be utilized there instead of remaking Bone Lab to be internally different in a way that doesn't improve the experience to the player at all. Can I crack? If you're a femboy. Minibattle, can you get me Taco Bell today? Yeah, I got you, fat ass. Hi, Mrs. Fungal. That's right. That's right. Yep.
What do I say?
I don't know. You want Taco Bell, right? You like Taco Bell? Yummy.
I like Taco Bell.
Yeah,
I like Taco Bell.
yummy, yummy. Do you ever plan to host events or challenges with fans in Bone Lab? I've had a couple ideas on doing more stuff like that in the future, just haven't gotten around to it. We'll see though. Are you scared of women? If not, name 3 women. I am scared of women, but I can name 3 anyway. Light from Bone Lab, Fast from Bone Lab, and Tall from Bone Lab. Do you still stand by the Bone Lab should stop updating, and what's the evolution of VR headsets you've had over the years? Yeah, I absolutely do stand by the Bone Lab should stop updating thing, but for clarification, since a lot of people just read the title, I mean after patch 9 it should stop. This game doesn't need to be updated forever. Modders will take up the ropes and make it more if need be. Obviously, also assuming patch 9 isn't super broken or anything, obviously I'd hope they'd fix that if that turns out to be the case. And for my evolution of headsets, here's my wall of headsets. That's all of them, not necessarily in order, but you get the gist. What's your thoughts on official Bone Lab multiplayer when the game is done? Would you like it? At this point, not really. For some reason, I've seen people say things like, Mini just wants fusion put in the base game and doesn't understand how that's horrible, which is not something I've ever said, ever. If we got multiplayer in the base game, I'd want it to be officially by SLZ. But at this point, I don't think adding official multiplayer to Bone Lab would be worth the effort. It'd probably be better for them to just make a multiplayer game later down the line at this point. Can I be in the 50K for old time's sake? Of course you can, Flimsy, you're goated. What is your music taste? Here's a picture of my bangers playlist on Spotify. My Spotify, by the way, is a completely public thing. Anyone can go look at and see all my playlists. I'll put a link in the description if you're interested, and if you're in my Discord server, you can also listen along with me on Spotify at literally any moment that I'm listening to music. What is your love language? I'm a fan of physical touch, yet I'm dating someone who lives 2 hours away from me. You make it work when you love someone though. If you ever had the chance to talk with Brandon, what would you ask him, or what would be your general response? I'd definitely ask you guys for some of your burning questions, that way it's more like the community gets to ask, but in terms of what I'd personally like to ask, it'd probably be a lot of mindset questions. Do you think this time and effort will be worth it in even 10 years? Do you see multiplayer in future games? What is the Steam frame like? I know you have it. What are your hopes for B-side or any SLZ game? Also, how's life been? I just hope it's good. I want to be surprised by the content and themes of the game because when SLZ is locked in, they kill it. Duck Season's atmosphere is spectacular, and I want to see more creativity like that. Also, life's been pretty awesome lately, having a great time with my friends, more than I usually get to. Remember me? Nope. What VR game did you play when you got your VR headset? Man, I was a big Beat Saber fan. Still am, but back then I was on it daily, since it was the only game I could afford. I would basically play only Beat Saber and Rec Room. I have a lot of nostalgia for Rec Room in particular as well. Used to have a big friend group there till we all grew up. Miss those guys sometimes still. How big is it? What the fuck? Another person asking me this? Go away! If YouTube never worked out as well as it did, would you still play Bone Lab as much as you do now? Probably not quite as much, but I'd still probably have a fuck ton of playtime. I was a big fan of SLZ stuff before my YouTube thing took off and had like 300 hours in Boneworks before any of this. So maybe I wouldn't be on it quite as much, but for sure would be at least somewhat close to my playtime now. What are your genuine thoughts about Bone Lab as a game thus far? No silly jokes, Mr. Mini. How do you truly feel? Well, hello, Wigwam. I think this game has such an insane amount of potential that when SLZ decides to stop updating it and wait 300 years to ship an update, it destroys my soul. But that comes from a place of love. I love the interaction engine of Bone Lab. It's unlike anything in any other VR game. There's a certain level of polish that just cannot be matched by anyone else, and it makes the game so replayable. But the story mode is pretty ass. Fuck Moonbase, fuck Monogon Motorway. Do you have any really big videos? Like, really big? If you mean currently that are up right now, I have a best videos playlist where I put only the videos I'm most proud of in it. I'll put it in the description if you're interested. In terms of effort and length of the video, here's 3 that are really special to me and took a whole hell of a lot of work. Have you had other interests / hobbies other than doing YouTube? Not really, outside of playing games. Honestly, my whole life is spent online in front of a computer, which I'd like to change a little bit, but I don't know a lot of people and don't have much to go outside for, unfortunately. Although online, I love my miscellaneous technology bullshit. Here's me playing Mario Kart World with my friends who don't have a Switch 2 via Parsec. Pretty cool. And here's my second channel where I post some occasional nerd shit I work on. Does Swipes tell you most of the technical things when it comes to updates, or does Hazzy? I know you don't. For the most part, it is actually me. You don't need to know how to make mods to understand a lot of the stuff mentioned in updates, and usually if I have one of them give me feedbacks where I struggle, I'll just let them record their own voice lines for things out of my understanding. When Boneworks gets its remaster, will you record videos in Boneworks or Bone Lab? I'll do both for sure, but probably I'm going to mainly focus on Boneworks as it's much more interesting and fun in comparison to Bone Lab, especially once it gets Fusion. How do you feel about dropping from 1st to 10th in the Bone Lab speedrun leaderboard? I don't mind. I figured it wouldn't stay long anyway. Ultimately, I'm just happy I got it in the first place so I could make that banger video. It felt very special to me. Out of all your videos, which one was the hardest to make? Either Game Engine 2 or the Boneworks retrospective. It's hard to tell because Game Engine required a lot of testing with Swipes to make sure the mods that were released alongside the video worked, but the Boneworks retrospective took a lot of research. Tough choice, but I'd probably pick the Boneworks retrospective since most of the work on Game Engine wasn't me. Did you submit something for the Wishing Well Lift community audio? And if so, what did you wish for / say? One of my biggest regrets in life is that I didn't. I meant to, forgot about it, and thought, oh, in the game you're probably not even going to be able to recognize the wishes because I thought it was for a song. Turns out the wishes are clearly fucking read aloud, and I will never forgive myself for this colossal fuck up. What moments of your YouTube career do you regret? To be honest, I don't have many regrets right now. I imagine I'll fuck up more in the future and this will age like milk, but as of the time recording this, I'd say I only regret working with the guy who made those songs for my older videos as he wound up being fairly not cool. Not like super evil or anything, but just generally not a great guy. Will you ever stop playing old DevSky? I got you, Nolman. From this point on, for at least this video, we won't use the old Brandon DevSky footage because we won't be using Brandon DevSky footage at all. Sorry, Nolman, I can't be bothered to record more B-roll right now. And our final tame question before we dive into the deep ones. How did you meet Swipes? Me and him both wanted to test somebody's work in progress Boneworks entanglement revitalization, and while testing it, it was a VC with just me, Swipes, and NPTNC, who was the guy working on it, and we all had a pretty good time. A while later, Swipes invited me to a Discord server almost as like a bit and expected I would just leave, but I wound up staying, and that's also how I met Hazzy. Now it's time for the really hard-hitting questions, the ones that get real personal. So if you're just here for the goofs and gaffs, you are free to leave, but thank you again for stopping by. Just like we did in the first half, we'll be including some lighter questions as well to make it generally more entertaining, just with a focus on the deeper ones now. Starting off with a juicy one, how was your first love? I'll go ahead and give the full story since I figured that's what you probably want. So if you're not interested, go ahead and skip to the timestamp on screen now. But for those of you who are curious, here we go. There was a girl I met in middle school who I took a particular interest in. And we'd hang out briefly as we shared a class together and a bus stop together. I used to walk home the long way just so I could hang out with her for a little more, like the awkward little fat loser I was. And I still am, but not quite as bad, I'd like to believe. Time went on and I'm in high school now, and one of my friends said, hey, we should hang out and play Minecraft sometime. And I don't exactly remember how I brought it up, but I was like, oh, you should get that one girl on, it'd be so awesome and so cool. And it wound up working through some fucking miracle. From that point on, us three hung out super often. And it was during COVID, so we'd be skipping our online classes and just talk to each other for hours. And they even came over sometimes. Eventually, there were some times where the one I was interested in would come over, just her, and we'd cuddle a little bit. And I was never in such a situation before, so I was petrified of making one wrong move and told myself, yeah, I am never asking out this girl. I am way too scared. And I never did. Over time, me and her were calling as we usually do, and she dropped an I love you, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so starstruck, being like a dumb little freshman in high school or whatever, and we wound up getting together. Then literally on my birthday, pretty much right after getting with this girl, I wound up moving an hour away after living in the same house for 10 years. So now me and her, being broke high schoolers who couldn't drive, we were hardly able to see each other. Her dad was also super strict, so he'd never let her come over to my house or let me go over there, on the rare occasion we even had an opportunity to see each other in the first place. Regardless of this, we tried our hardest and wound up lasting 2 years. For a first experience, I don't think I could have asked for it to have really gone much better. We were super close and knew each other since we were kids, so it made a lasting impression the same way a childhood friend would. Me and her tried talking again as friends a while back, but she wound up not wanting to keep me as a friend, which sucks because you can't go back in time and make new childhood friends, so whoever you met then is who you get now. And sometimes I wish me and her just never dated so we could just be friends, but that's not how life plays out sometimes. There's not always a necessarily happy ending, and that's okay. All in all, you learn a lot and it'll help you with your future situations, so you can't dwindle on the past forever. What's your favorite game that's not VR and why? Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I have so many memories with my old friend group just playing zombies for hours and hours. I was absolutely obsessed, and I still love that game. I haven't talked to that group in years since it's mostly disbanded, but those are some of my fondest childhood memories. Me and my brother playing split screen on our Xbox and just having a good time. The first video on my channel is actually an Xbox gameplay of me, my brother, and our childhood friend doing an Easter egg. Do you have plans of big projects like Wigwam did with the Bone Lab Iceberg? Bone Lab retrospective when the game stops updating, and I want to get shocked for charity. I'm not giving more context on that, but I really want to do that stream. What does Minibattle LOP even mean? My username on PS3 was supposed to be Minecraft Battle, but I spelt Minecraft without an E because I was like 7 years old and could barely spell. So a lot of people misread it as Minicraft Battle. As I grew up, I removed the craft, just leaving Mini Battle because I wasn't 6 years old anymore. With that Xbox friend group I was talking about, one of them had like a clan name, and I always wanted to do YouTube, so I was like, oh, let me come up with a random word like Smosh has, and I came up with LOP. Then I just combined them, and I've kept that name as a way to pay homage to my past. And it's kind of funny because in the Urban Dictionary, LOP means stupid, so I'm so naturally dumb that I came up with the word dumb. Did you ever had a fan interaction that made you really uncomfortable? And do you have any favorite songs you like? My first fan interaction was a guy I met on VR chat, and it made me uncomfortable, not because of them or anything. They were actually really cool, but just because I was terrified. I have medication for my anxiety and I was not taking it at the time, so I was just panicking like crazy. The guy was super chill and explained that my videos helped him through a hard time, and that genuinely still sticks with me really strongly and changed the way I saw a lot of my videos. I used to feel bad about uploading the Fusion playing around just with like me swipes and everyone. I felt like it was kind of low effort, but he sort of made it clear that those videos meant a lot to him and that maybe not necessarily every video needs to be so high effort. What do you think your biggest flaw making videos is? Work ethic, for sure. Man, I need to get off my ass and do more videos. But I think partly because I'm sat in front of my computer so often, it fucks with me bad. I'm working to find better things to do outside of being sat at my PC, but it's hard as it's just the lifestyle I've always had and have always grew up with. How does it feel living in my shadow? Oh man, that's the hardest part. Okay, but the real question is, what do you think you would be doing right now if it weren't for Bone Lab or YouTube in general? I'd probably be at college studying for something I don't want to do. I was always a good student, like all A's and B's, but when YouTube started consistently doing well, I actually dropped out my junior year of high school. I've always wanted to do YouTube, and I remember sitting in class freaking out because a video got demonetized and I wasn't home to fix it. That day was when I realized, man, I cannot do both YouTube and school. One has to get sacrificed in some way, and I'm not settling for less focus on YouTube. I didn't have any of my diagnoses yet and my medication, so I didn't know that most people don't struggle as hard and could probably do both unmedicated, but I absolutely could not do it at the time. So what would I be doing without YouTube? Well, my one and only dream would have not come true, so I'd probably be heartbroken and doing some office job. And because of that, not a day goes by where I'm not grateful for this absolutely insane opportunity. Thank you guys again. It really means the world to me. How did you get your first VR headset? Like, what did you do to get it? My brother was a little interested in VR, and for his birthday, we had to pick between getting a Quest or a Rift S. My PC looked like this because you needed an external GPU to connect the headset to, but even then, I still managed to convince my brother to get the Rift S because of Minecraft VR, which wasn't available on Quest at the time. He did not use it even 1% as much as I did. I've always been insanely interested in VR, and it lived up to everything I hoped it was. When is the face reveal? Right now, boom, there I am. It's like my best picture. I'm a little emo little guy. Look at me go. How does it feel to be uneducated and know you don't have a backup plan if YouTube shits itself? Oh, it's terrifying. Every day I worry at least a little bit that one day everything I've worked for will all just be gone for some random community guideline strike or something. But for me, life without YouTube is dreadful. So I don't want a backup plan. I want this. So for me, what I do is try to just not think about it. Realistically, I should hopefully be at least fine doing this, so I'd rather not think about the what if it doesn't work and just enjoy it working right now because it should keep working. So it feels awful, but I try not to linger on it. Also, you're still a fat ass. Are you planning to do more variety on the channel or just sticking to Bone Lab? Probably just sticking to SLZ stuff. I've tried branching out a bit because I would like to, but it doesn't really work out. Hell, this video probably is not doing very well because it isn't directly Bone Lab related. This channel for sure is stuck in an SLZ algorithm trap, but I'm not against that at all. I love their stuff, and this is awesome regardless. It's totally chill with me. Are you planning on making modding videos for games other than Bone Lab? Yeah, Boneworks. What made you never lose motivation whenever you first started? Just love of the game. I've definitely had periods where I'm less motivated though, but generally that spark is always there just because I love doing this so much, even if it is, you know, died down a bit in certain other periods. Especially after that fan interaction with the guy who said my videos helped him through really hard times. Stuff like that sticks with me, and it makes me extremely happy to make videos that help people the same way YouTubers in my past used to help me when I was going through hard times. Although the reason I won't go months without uploading and only uploading when I have something really cool, which is something I used to do before I made any money, is exactly that, because I have bills to pay and I need to upload at least semi-schedulally to, you know, fulfill that financial obligation. Minibattle, how did your YouTube career evolve into what it is right now? Was it luck or pure grind? I think it's a mixture of both. I was making videos for like 5 years before any of them did any numbers. Then, because of the long grind, it was just naturally more likely for something to do well since I was making a lot of videos. When you see a video do less than average, how do you react or approach it? And how did you first find out about Boneworks before it came out? When a video does less than average, it for sure hurts a bit. I try to just learn from it and not linger on it too much, but that's really hard to do when every time I open the YouTube studio, it's showing me a depressing gray arrow saying, I suck. That doesn't happen too often, and I've gotten to the habit of scaling my success myself. If I get 10,000 views, I consider the video a success since the number looks nice on the YouTube homepage. If a video gets less than 10K, it does make me feel like shit, but typically I am averaging around 10K. And I found Boneworks because I loved watching duck season and was super excited to see that story continue, so I was always following whatever the studio was doing. They still haven't fucking continued that story. Where is David? And please, for the love of God, do not say he's strong from Bone Lab. That sucks. I want to see him actually fucking do something. At this point of your life doing YouTube, does it make you feel fulfilled, or is there something else you want to be doing? I for sure feel fulfilled, but I always wanted to do more personal videos on YouTube like this one. Unfortunately, those types of videos don't perform well on my channel, and while that sucks a little bit, it's completely understandable and fair. I also have always had a dream of doing either a Nintendo channel or a Smash Bros channel in specific, but overall, I wouldn't trade what I have for the world, as it's absolutely incredible that I get to do this at all. So regardless of maybe some slight differences in my wish, I'm extremely grateful for what I have. This one's 4 questions, so we're gonna do them rapid fire. If you could do it all over again, would you still do YouTube? 1,000,000,000% yes, 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 of course. Are you happy with the community you've created, or do you wish it could be something more? I'm pretty happy with my community. There are a few bad actors, but that's in every community. Has starting YouTube changed you as a person? If so, has it been for the better or for the worse? I think it has changed me a little bit, but I think it is for the better as I try harder to be better for my viewers. Having eyes on me makes me want to try my best more so, and hopefully I'm doing a good job. How's your mental health been now and past? In the past, it was really bad. I've been admitted to a ward for an attempt on my life a couple years ago, which is how I wound up getting my diagnoses and medication. Since then though, things have been a lot better. I'm doing absolutely excellent and life's been great. What was the craziest thing that happened in your life? Probably the thing I just mentioned. What does the dedicated to Toto and Bullet, rest in peace, in your channel description mean? Those are my 2 childhood dogs who passed away. Here they are, Toto on the left, Bullet on the right. Bullet fucking hated my ass, little evil chihuahua, but I loved him anyway. What do you do content for? Like just for money or another reason? Part of it is for money, you know, it's a job, but also for the love of the game. Even if I retire, I'll probably still do videos just because I love doing them. What was the most difficult time in your life and how did you get through it? It was probably that attempt a while back. I was able to get through it because I got lucky enough to meet awesome people when I got admitted in. Seeing other people go through much harder times and push through it showed me it could be so much worse, and I should be more grateful for what I have. I've always been grateful for stuff like YouTube, but not necessarily other things in my life. I used to be devastated by the fact I moved, for example, but in comparison to what could have been, it's really not that bad. Especially when one of the girls there had her father pull a on her face a couple of times. Even regardless of that though, she sat there with a big smile on her face and still tried her best to have a good time and look out for people. What's the most personal thing that's happened in the lifespan of Bone Lab? Example, got a girlfriend, had a kid. Well, I've definitely never had a kid. I'd say most personal is probably when me and the girl I dated for 2 years broke up. It was a really hard time for me, and I decided to give up on my YouTube dream and make one last big video, then only do videos for fun and just full focus on school. That video was the gripless one. My grieving of that lost love was put on hold because my childhood dream pretty much came true right as we broke up. It made me feel a lot better going through the breakup as it gave me something to divert my focus to when things got particularly bad. And our final question. Well, Are you proud of what you've become? Abso-fucking-lutely. I have met so many great people, done a lot of insane videos, am living out my childhood dream, and most importantly, helped a lot of people. Out of all the bad things I've been through, if it meant it's what it took to get here, I would do it all over again, 10 times, 7 days a week, whatever the fuck it takes. This is everything I could have ever asked for and more, and I am beyond just grateful for what I'm able to do and what I've been able to accomplish. But most importantly to all of that, thank you. Thank you for deciding to watch my videos and enjoy what I have in store. I know to you, you're just watching videos you like, but you're having an insane impact on people's lives by doing just that. Your comments mean so much more to us creators than you think. Your criticisms, they're taken to heart, and I will always continue to try my best to make sure my videos are as entertaining as possible for you guys. It is the least I could do after all. When you see my sub count go up, I want you to feel accomplished as well, because even though I make the videos, you make them possible. So really, it is a group effort from me and you. And I know that sounds like the average YouTube cliche thing, but there's a reason we all say shit like this. It's because it's true, man. So one final time before we go back to our regularly inconsistent and horribly scheduled videos, thank you so much for getting me to 50,000. This means the world to me. I used to dream of being able to say stuff like this to an actual audience, and here we are. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Fat bitches, have an absolutely wonderful day.